And it's important that once those resources are being provided, these guys will work harder to ensure that the terrorists that have been terrorizing our nation will be brought to book.
All right, just the charge. The charge to the military personnel would not really go a long way because we've not seen practical action. This is my own position. This is my own stand. For example, you made mention of the Kuje prison attack and all of that. Let's just say that was just before us. What about those ones that happened that we didn't see anything about? So talking about the charge is not really enough. I believe we will not have confidence in this kind of issue whenever there is practical action to any issue that has to do with security in our country. For example, the Owa attack, that of the Kaduna-Abuja train attack, there were no practical actions up until today. Just imagine a group will make a video and then make it available. At the end of the day, the government is still watching at it. Nothing is being done. It should go beyond giving charge.
Yeah,
whenever any issue occurs, there should be responsibility, as you have rightly stated. The leadership is all about responsibility. Fish these people out. Now ensure that those who are to carry out this responsibility are up and doing.
Right.
It is very, very important in order for we to get it right. Otherwise, we'll keep making a mistake. Please, we shouldn't forget that it is very, very important that we protect lives, not just property, but lives also in our society. All right, Victor.
All right, let's move on to the next topic this evening. PDP rather sues INEC, APC, and also 6 Obi Tinubu's disqualification. Now, the People's Democratic Party has instituted, excuse me, the People's Democratic Party has instituted a lawsuit compelling the Independent National Electoral Commission to prevent all Progressive Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu and the Labour Party standard bearer Peter Obi from replacing their running mate with Senator Kashim Shettima and Senator Dati Baba Ahmed respectively. The PDP is also asking the court to declare that Tinubu and Obi be disqualified unless they contest alongside their previous running mates, Kabiru Masari and Doyin Okupe respectively. Now, in the originating summons with suit number FHC ABJ CS 1016 2022, the PDP is seeking an order barring the Independent National Electoral Commission from replacing the running mates of Tinubu and Obi. When the issue of placeholder came out, Moses now, I think I followed up that story at the time, and we had you know, the debate that there was no such thing as a placeholder in the Constitution, and that happened. There was more like a debate about that, and afterwards, INEC came out to say that there are provisions, or there are 2 reasons upon which
you can fill in somebody.
Exactly. And one of those reasons is, one, if the candidate, the vice presidential candidate, resigns or withdraws from the race, that he can be replaced, or
dead
if he dies. Now, Doyin Okupe withdrew from the race. He resigned, and that led to the emergence of Senator Dati Baba for the Labour Party. Masari also made it public that he was also withdrawing from the race and also resigned from being the vice presidential running mate to Tinubu. And that also led to the emergence of Senator Shettima. So I think with this knowledge made available, it is within the confine of their rights to replace someone who has now withdrawn from the race. So PDP suing INEC and saying to them to disqualify Peter Obi and
Bola Tinubu.
I don't think that could actually hold water if the, in quotes, the stance of INEC is binding by law. So it is important that we also look at it from that particular angle. However, our fingers are crossed, and we, of course, will be following up to see what happens afterwards. Let us see if the court, if there are loopholes, if there are clauses that will be used in court. But again, the PDP has made their case, and it's less for the court to respond, and let's see what happens afterwards. But from what I know, from what I've read, from what I've seen, INEC has made publicly known to us is that far as these guys have withdrawn from the race, then the parties, the political parties, have the right to replace the both withdrawn candidates with the recent candidate that they have replaced them with. So PDP should, however, well, carry on whatever they're doing, and let's watch what the court does from here.
All right, Victor. Based on this particular issue now, talking about PDP suing INEC and also Obi and Tinubu, that the issue of running mates, they didn't make submission of running mates and all of that, that these people should be disqualified. Well, if you have a grievance or grievances, we have legal instrument through which you go through and then ensure that you satisfy your own position. I believe that's been the step that the People's Democratic Party is taking as a matter of fact. If the issue, the contentious issue here is that that clause, that name, that concept in parenthesis, placeholder, that actually, okay, after the presidential primary election, that made Atiku Abubakar emerge as the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate. Then within a period of time, he went for Okowa. Then nothing was happening. But because INEC gave a line that you shouldn't exceed this particular line if you're not filling in a candidate. Now, these two political parties, it was known then. It's something that went viral then. The issue of placeholder then came in. That's okay. Let us now substitute this particular position now, that anybody that enters much later on will pick the rightful candidate. But they came up with that, in quotes, placeholder, where Masari came in for the All Progressives Congress, and then we had Okugbe for the Labour Party. Then towards that, remember that Festus Okoye has come up today to say that, okay, we are being faced with the issue of the Osun State election that will be conducted tomorrow. Now, we've not been aware, we've not received in writing what the People's Democratic Party has done. If that was the case, that there is no problem, that the issue of placeholder is not in the form of INEC. Rather, what they have there is the position for the presidential candidate and the running mates. That once you submit that they don't have anything like placeholder, that actually Section 33 of the amended Electoral Act 2022 states clearly that on the occasion of either death or withdrawal, that you can then fill in a particular person to act in that name. That if it is the issue of either election for House of Representatives or the Senate, for example, okay, if somebody clarifies this particular issue, but based on that grant, that anything that has to do with presidential candidate and the running mate, that's we don't have anything that has to do with placeholder. However, if they receive it in writing, they will work towards it. They can always settle this issue at court. So the position of the People's Democratic Party, I do not see it. A number of persons are saying that they are afraid, they are perceiving defeat, and that's why they are going ahead to be faster than even the main game. But I don't see
some defenses, you know, and all that. So it's all a game, and that's why it is. Politics, like we know, it's basically a game. So everyone is perhaps bringing in their best foot at the moment and trying to play what they can play. But the question will now be: is this the right way to play the game?
Victor, as I have said before now, that the legal instruments are there for you to use and assuage anything at all, as a matter of fact. So if the People's Democratic Party has come up to say, okay, that this thing that is happening is not in its right direction, so we feel that things should be done rightly, please visit the courts. Let us see the outcome of this thing, and then at the end of the day, we'll know how we address this issue. So I would tell the All Progressives Congress and Labour Party, get ready. If the matter enters a legal hand, please just go and see what will come out from it, so that at the end of the day, the people will know where they are standing on. It is very, very important. It's a matter that possibly will be resolved at the court. That's just that. All right, moving on, still on Press Roundtable tonight. We are walking straight into the next issue before us tonight, as we'll be looking at it from time to time to ensure that we take care of this particular issue that we want to drop at this point in time. But I still say that there are ways that we can get things done rightly in our country. Don't vote any politician involved in medical tourism. Of course, ahead of the 2023 Nigeria elections, nurses, under the auspices of the University Graduates of Nursing Science Association, UGONSA, have admonished Nigerians on whom to vote. This formed part of the communique issued by the association at its conference yesterday in Abakaliki, in Ebonyi State. The communique made available to newsmen was signed by the UGONSA National President, Chief Honorable S.E.O. Eguenu, and the National Secretary, Nurse G.I. Nshi. The association said it was beyond shame that the Nigerian health system that once ranked among the best 10 in global ranking and benefited from medical tourism, treating the likes of the Saudi royals in the 1960s, is now celebrating that its ranking improved from 187 out of 191 countries. I quote, "How do we come to terms with the Federal Ministry of Health estimation that Nigeria loses about $2 billion annually to medical tourism? It is heart-wrenching, especially when it is obvious that this money, if put together over the next 5 years and deployed for the upgrade of our health facilities, health research capabilities, and health infrastructures, can launch our health system to among the best 5 in the world. That rather than to pay attention to fixing our health system, our politicians are shamelessly busy competing on whom to win the ignoble title of medical tourist one of Nigeria." This is this is very strong from the Nigerian nurses.
They're giving a title.
It is very strong, but we must face the reality.
Yeah, it is a
what they are
reality.
saying, we are not clearly away from what they have said. As a matter of fact, also they said that our hospitals are in shambles because our politicians and their families are not treated in our hospitals. Our hospitals will be fixed to be in the world-class ranking any day our political class starts getting treatment from our hospitals. They also went further to say that the monies wasted on medical tourism are enough to rejig our health system and make a competing payment to the healthcare professionals that will dissuade those currently practicing in the country from even thinking going abroad and compel those that have left for greener pastures to return home. Victor, this is the issue. But they ended up by saying that the group now has taken a strong stand to say that Nigerians, to get their permanent voters cards, prepare to vote out and never vote for any politician who has a penchant for embarking on medical tourism abroad. All right, Victor, looking at this particular issue tonight, sorry, but it's been there.
Yeah.
We carried this particular story also. There is a particular issue going on at the moment, even in Rivers State, concerning, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So the Nigerian nurses have come up to say that, oh, look at what's been happening here, that our politicians, instead of them to concentrate fixing infrastructures, giving attention to health sector in our country, that they were busy traveling around the world with their families, seeking for the best medical attention. And then also, they will come at the end of the day to steal a kind of clamor or try to seek support from us that we should still vote them in. You've seen the position and the stand of Nigerian nurses. Let us have your thoughts. Perhaps you don't feel, you don't break down anyway.
Well, of course, we're all human.
Okay, and then you can.
Well, I'm immune to being sick.
All right, let's consider those who are open to read.
Yeah, but again, if the health sector of a great nation like Nigeria is not being properly looked into, it's something that is laughable and also bring tears to our eyes.
I agree with you completely on this.
Because, I always pride with Nigeria in as much as we have our issues, but I believe that I'm a citizen. I mean a bona fide, I'm a born citizen of a great nation, Nigeria. But again, it pains my heart to see that the greatness of my country is not being expressed, it's not being manifested because of, in quote, wrong leadership. Now, what does it take for the health sector to be revitalized? I tried as much as possible not to use the word rehabilitated, because that word has been used severally to different angles.
In different sectors.
In different
we,
sectors.
we have it even in the petroleum sector.
So, I mean, that's been like the strongest of word there. They are still like, let's leave that. But again, what does it really take for our health sector, for our health industry to be revitalized? Imagine if the number one citizen keeps traveling now to go and take medical attention outside the country. What are you telling us? We have Asrock that is supposed to have some of the best medical team
facilities.
in that facilities as well in that particular structure, and they are telling us right now that, come on, that the president cannot be treated in Asrock, that elites, that's the word now, that elites of Nigeria cannot be treated medically in the nation Nigeria. For every illness, simple as headache, they travel out of the country to go and seek medical attention, and then come back to rule the nation where they are abandoned to go outside and also seek medical attention. I think that the position of the nurses of Nigeria is a solid for the position.
All right, Victor, from my own angle, the position of the Nigerian nurses, if you had listened keenly, they didn't point fingers at anybody. Rather, they said politicians. Now, we have representatives at the grassroots level. We have representatives at the state level, even at the federal level. In public offices, you find a number of them there.
Yeah.
All right. There are things that we expect from our representatives, from those who we have given the mandate, the mantra, who've given consent. We're giving them allegiance, legitimacy.
Yeah.
Go and stand on behalf of us, and then try to lobby, if at all it comes to that particular position, in our own interest.
Right.
It will not take anything from a representative at the local grassroots level to say, okay, in my village, in my own ward, there is no well-equipped medical center in my own ward.
Yeah.
So what is my responsibility? These are the things, these minute things that people expect from their representatives. Do this, will not have the chance. Nigerian nurses will not have gotten the grant to say that. Please, while you get your PVC, do not vote politicians who take interest in traveling outside the country just to give attention to their health. Talking about medical tourism, they travel because of giving attention to their health and what have you. So we expect people in public offices to just bring basic representation to the people. Take care of what concern the people, these things that concern the people. For example, you made provision of health center. Tell me why I would not want to vote you the next time.
Why not?
So, talking about the position of Nigerian nurses, I don't have issue. They are very firm with their stand, because it is very, very important. Take away health from anybody. That person is completely nothing at all, as a matter of fact. So, if you are taking interest in traveling outside the country just to give attention to your health, and then you have ignored the responsibility given to you, because you are there does not mean that you cannot go off there tomorrow. People gave you the legitimacy. People gave you that opportunity for you to just go and serve. So you went there and then started doing other things. It does not give any good impression about you as a representative. Otherwise, Nigerian nurses wouldn't have come up with this issue that we should not vote in any politician that takes interest in medical tourism. Do the right things. You've been given the mandate. You've been given the responsibility to discharge, to take care of the affairs of the people, not just your own. So it will not be so good that at the end of the day, you feel that you can receive good medical attention elsewhere, and then you want people at your own ward to die. It doesn't give a good impression at all. So I stand also on the position of Nigerian nurses. How is it that you don't serve me and then you expect me to serve you? That will not actually take a good turn anyway. Victor, your final thought on this particular issue tonight.
Well, let's end it by saying that it is your PVC that affords you the right to vote for your preferred candidate. And therefore, it is important that you must go get your PVC. 2023 is just by the corner. and you must have to partake, you must have to participate in the next 2023 election. This election also decides your fate, our fate as a nation, who rules us, who leads us for the next 4 years or the next 8 years. And therefore, you must be a partaker of that election process, because it is all going to affect us. It's either going to, no, your decision makes or you mar your position as an individual. So go get your PVC if you're up to the right voting age in this country, Nigeria. If you don't have it, go get it. Hey, your vote counts. It's important for you to remember that your votes count. Our votes count. Well, this is how far we can take on today's edition of the Press Roundtable. It's been a beautiful conversation with you, Moses Ben. It's always exciting having you to co-host this program tonight. Thank you once again for being here tonight, bro.
Thank you very much, Victor. All right, dear viewer, that's the much we can take tonight on ATN's Press Roundtable. Thank you so much for your time. Please remember to tune in every Mondays to Fridays, 7 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. as our time for this particular issue. Press Roundtable, where we dissect issues with divergent narratives. My name is Moses Ben. Up next is Election 2023, thereafter Global at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much. Remember that peace and unity are pathways to progress. Good night.
In our time on ATN Icons. Here we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing
the people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election here? the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
Warm evening to you and welcome to Election 2023. Nigeria's nascent democracy leap. Now, since independence in 1960, this democratic dispensation is the longest without any military interruption. However, our previous democratic experiences were bedeviled with crises that led to military intervention. Now, since 1999, despite accusations and counter-accusations, the political actors have been hopeful that the next election, as usual, will remedy whatever shortcomings of a particular election. It is in this that the actors in the political processes are hinging their hope that 2023 general election have the likelihood of being better than the previous elections in this dispensation. There has been developments that makes 2023 election very interesting. They include the new electoral law that has electronic provisions, the perceived independence of the INEC, the massive awareness of the part of the electorate, and the issue of votes buying. How these and others will affect the next generation, the next election, beg your pardon, becomes a great concern to all and sundry. Atlantic Television Network, as a media with an objective of providing a platform for the people to ventilate their voice, to restore human dignity, and ensure satisfaction to the people, has in its characteristic style packaged a special program that will be dedicated to ensuring that the people knows the candidates and what they stand for. Therefore, ATN 2023 election is a platform designed to discuss issues around the general election, extract the candidates, and provide a medium to give the people a voice. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone across Nigeria and beyond, welcome to Election 2023. But I have my co-host, Amechi Okonkwo, a veteran journalist par excellence. Welcome to ATN 2023 elections.
Good evening, Vivian. Thank you for having me on.
How excited are you, or how scared are you for the 2023 election?
Excited.
I like that breath.
concerned, all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, excited because, like I keep saying, Nigeria has come to a threshold of another political dispensation. And from the indications we are having, it can never be the same again in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. The indications are very clear from what's been happening. Now, is whether the systems that has been, or the system that has been, will permit for, for that revolution, as it were, to go full circle, or if it will disrupt it using their sticks or their carrots, as the case may be. So,
well, we are all up for it in Atlantic Television Network, and we call on everyone across the board to join us, because the people have a stake. And for the very first time, it's become apparent that you cannot have an election in Nigeria without the active participation of the people. And that is why, as Atlantic Television Network, we are poised to make sure that every weekday we bring you stories, issues on the 2023 elections every 8 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, to ensure that you participate. We'll get to give out our Zoom link that brings you to the live studio so that you can have a voice and join the conversation. But what are we talking about on this maiden edition of 2023 elections? We are looking at a candidate profile. Who are we meeting today? Ahmed Bola Tinubu, presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress Party. And now, what else are we looking about? We'll be looking about the controversy surrounding Ahmed Bola Tinubu. And after that, we will also be looking at what is making the news today, what is making the rounds in the news today. Pastor Oju, sorry, how did you get to the point where you couldn't be sensitive enough to know that these young people are called woke for a reason, that they are called the Sorosoke, like Yorubas will say, for a reason? But we'll be answering this and many more when we come back from the break. Stay with us. 23 elections returns shortly.
Meet the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter Atlantic TV Net. For sponsorship 0810-634-1777. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
Good to have you back on Election 2023. And what is our first story for tonight? We're going straight to meet the first candidate that we are presenting to you, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, and that's no other than Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Ahmed Bola Tinubu, like we all know, we've heard it, but a lot of times, even the young people of today may not have a typical idea who he is. Now, Tinubu spent his early life in southwestern Nigeria. Tinubu was born on 29 March 1952 in Lagos State, Nigeria. His mother, Abibatu Mogaji, was a trader that later became the Yolaja of Lagos State and later moved to the United States, where he studied accounting at Chicago State University. He returned to Nigeria in the early 1980s and was employed by Mobile Nigeria as an accountant before entering politics as a Lagos West senatorial candidate in 1992 under the banner of the Social Democratic Party. After dictator Sani Abacha dissolved the Senate in 1993, Tinubu became an activist campaigning for the return of democracy as a part of the National Democratic Coalition movement. Although he was forced into exile in 1994, Tinubu returned after Abacha's 1998 death triggered the beginning of the transition to the Fourth Republic. In the first post-transition Lagos State's gubernatorial election, Tinubu won by a wide margin as a member of the Alliance for Democracy over the People's Democratic Party, Dakbo Sarumi, and the All People's Party, Nasiruddin Kekere Ekun. 4 years later, Tinubu won re-election to a second term over the PDP's Funsho Williams by reduced margin. Tinubu's 2 terms as governor of Lagos State were marked by attempts at modernizing the city of Lagos and his feuds with the PDP-controlled federal government. Now, after leaving office in 2007 as the governor of Lagos State, Tinubu retained his status as one of Nigeria's most influential politicians, as his allies often filled high, offices throughout the Southwestern, and he played a key role in the formation of the All Progressive Congress in 2013. Now, long and controversial, Tinubu's career has been plagued by accusations of corruption and questions about the veracity of his personal history. Now, this is the brief profile we have on Tinubu. Amaechi, good to have you back again.
Thank you.
A very interesting time we are looking at here. Tinubu, the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate. A lot of us are not even aware that he's had such a long history. In fact, today when I was researching, I asked my girl in the office, I'm like, when was Tinubu a senator? She said after the governorship, after he became a governor. I'm like, I can't remember that. Check again. There are a lot of young people today who don't know anything about this candidate. Maybe they will get to talk about Atiku, Abubakar, P2B, and the others. That will give a better perspective. However, who is Tinubu? What do you know about him so far when it comes to his early life?
Yeah, I got to know much about him during his governorship, but the results of the research showed that he was a senator in 1992 during the never-ending transition program of the then military dictator Babangida.
Abacha.
No, not Abacha. It was in 1992, the Babangida's transition program, which Abacha terminated in 1993.
Yes.
It was a staggered transition, sort of, that had the governors and the state and national assembly in place, waiting for the presidential election. It was after the annulment of the presidential election, like also the research showed that there were activists came up, which Tinubu was one of them, and in the process of insisting that we return to democracy. They had issues with Abacha then. That was when he went to exile. So, but like you said, and that is part of the problem we are going to have in Nigeria in the nearest future this issue of terminating history in secondary schools. You see, because if those of them that are passing through secondary school in recent years would not know where these men are coming from, they will just happen on them like that, and they will not, except they bend down to do research, which most of the time they are penchant for social media stuff will not allow them to do. But if it were those days, the books were there, and they will be compelled to, those of them that will offer history, they will be compelled to get this information in their history classes, so they will know them also as current affairs. But unfortunately, we are no longer offering history in secondary school, so they have a limited access now to get previous information about who their leaders will be. And I don't know how it will affect their decision about them. That is why you can see also they are easily identifying with who they can relate with his development, which is Peter Obi, who is of a more recent history than these other
politicians.
Yes.
Now, let's look at Tinubu as a governor. At least that's what most of us can relate to. As a governor of Lagos State, for a two-term governor, a lot of people are saying Tinubu has done this, Tinubu has done this. We don't know much of what Tinubu has done, because if you also compare his track record with the fact that Lagos was once the capital of Nigeria, in terms of fundamental structures that has been laid by the forebears who were taking the lead at the time, and then looking at him as an individual, what exactly makes Tinubu so thick to become Nigeria's governor, in your estimation?
Well, I also
Nigeria's president, I mean.
I also have to depend on what has been said about him as the governor of Lagos State, because that is the era when he became most popular, and where, by claims, he showed his capacity to make a change. But I think what he has going for him, most especially, is his capacity to identify talent and to bring them on board, to work with them, and as it were, to give them free hand to operate. You discover that most of his campaign is not even coming from him. It's coming from the people he met across. When he was the governor of Lagos State, he made appointments like across the country. He didn't restrain himself to your being a citizen of Lagos State, but what he was after was capacity to deliver, and that saw him make appointments across the nation, such that some people from the Southeast were in his cabinet. And because we are also just coming immediately from the long military dictatorship, so some of the things he did, received wide acclaim. But what he did was that he capitalized on Lagos, like you pointed earlier, being the capital of the nation. He capitalized on that leverage to leapfrog the development of Lagos ahead of other states, and so that is what he has counting for him.
So it wasn't like he started he built Lagos from the roots.
No. That cannot be attributed to him, because before he came on board, Lagos has been the capital of Nigeria and benefited from federal presence. So there were structures. Only that what he did was maybe to
harness what is in existence.
Yes.
All right, now we can't now talk about the person of Tinubu, and then when we look at mentally, close your eyes and say, okay, when you get into Lagos State, what can we identify this individual as? You talked about, a lot of people say, oh, he has appointed people, he has done this, he has done that. But when it comes to who you are as a national figure beyond Lagos State, who is Ahmed Bola Tinubu? Beyond his political involvement with All Progressive Congress. Remember, his fight with Obasanjo made it really difficult for him to get into national politics while Obasanjo was the president of Nigeria. And that's between 1999 and 2007. Now, after that, after Obasanjo, and then he also left as a governor. He's been able to appoint whoever he wanted, his prodigies, as governors of Lagos State, so to say. I mean, elections were carried out, we all know that. But who is Tinubu outside of Lagos State, outside of the Yoruba land influence? Who is Tinubu as a national figure beyond political party? What can the young person, because I'm thinking in my head, when I close my eyes and I think of Tinubu, what can I relate with him? Can I relate with him as an astute businessman who I can identify, these are his businesses, this is how he's employing people, or this is how he's creating new products for the Nigerian market? Can I identify him as a sound public speaker, an orator, like we can talk about Yemi Osinbajo? What can the average Nigerian today look at Tinubu and identify him as beyond his involvement with the APC as a party, and outside of what he has done in Lagos? Can you mentally, because I'm thinking, I can't think of anything.
Now what I can also really remember is about politics. It might not just be with APC, because before APC there was ACN, and there were other
which was what he used
yes,
as a governor.
He was using the ACN platform. But like, as a businessman, I don't know of any, I may be wrong, but I don't know of any a strong business outfit that can be linked to him directly. The only one I know that has the Tinubus on their name is Oando, but he's not the person in charge of the Oando business. I think is it his son, or is a member of his family. I wouldn't know whether it's son or brother now. Other than that, I think all about Tinubu is politics. Politics.
Okay. But we are asking for more than politics right now.
Exactly.
We are asking for, we're not just, if it was about politics, Nyesom Wike should have been the presidential candidate of the All Progressive, because he's a grassroots. I give it to him. Wike understands grassroots politics. I don't know if there's any Nigerian that plays actual grassroots politics.
He should understand it because he started from the grassroots.
yes. Let's give it to Nyesom Wike. He plays grassroots politics. I don't know any other politician in this country that has played grassroots politics like Nyesom Wike. But let's bring it back to the man in question, and that's Ahmed Bola. Because we're getting to like meet him. Who is he? What are the things that you can close your eyes? Okay, we'll say Mike Adenuga, Globacom. But we'll say Otedola. You know, like when we mention these names, these individuals, you can have an independent identity outside of politics. So like I said, we are asking for more. Yeah. What more are we going to see from this man if he becomes the president of Nigeria? What more can we see? Let's have a look. Let's not look. We can talk about his ailing health, or allegedly ailing health, his age, and all that. But what more can be said about this individual? That's what is important to us right now, because it's not enough to say, I built the APC, I did this, I did that. We want to see more.
It's been my life ambition to
be a president. No, those are rhetorics that is not going to cut it for us in Nigeria. So we want more. So today we are extraying Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the presidential candidate for the All Progressive Congress for the 2023 elections. I took my time, I researched and brought out a whole lot about his profile, when he was born, his mom, and all those details. But guess what? Nothing was concretely identified as this is who he is outside of politics. Politics hasn't cut it for us democratically and military-wise. So we are looking at something more. Can young Nigerians, can the future Nigerians get something more if Tinubu becomes the APC, he becomes the president of Nigeria in 2023? We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll go straight to look at controversies around Tinubu, and of course, we'll get to look at whatever it is a Pastor Puju would have done to young Nigerians today, and we'll be right back.
Meet the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter Atlantic TV Net. For sponsorship 0810-634-1777. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at The People, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
Have you back? You're still on 2023 elections, coming to you live on Atlantic Television Network. And if this is just joining us, well, you have missed something. But let's look at the second part of the conversation tonight, and that's on controversy surrounding Ahmed Bola Tinubu, APC presidential candidate, because he is the person we are meeting tonight. It's the maiden edition, and who better to start the show with than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, what are some of the controversial issues surrounding him? Take your time to listen to this. First, there is a story of illegal operation of foreign accounts. Now, in April 2007, the general elections, after the general elections, before the governor-elect Babatunde Fashola had taken office, the federal government brought Tinubu before the Code of Conduct Bureau for trial over the alleged illegal operation of 16 separate foreign accounts. That's interesting, right? We are not done. Now, appropriation of Lagos funds in buying shares in Econet. Now, in January 2009, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission cleared Tinubu and Governor James Ibori of Delta State and Obong Victor Atta of Akwa Ibom State of charges of conspiracy, money laundering, abuse of office, and official corruption in relation to a sale of V Mobile Network shares in 2004. In March 2009, there were reports that a plot had been identified to kill Tinubu. The Alliance for Democracy called on the Inspector General of Police, Michael Curry, to conduct a thorough investigation. In September 2009, however, there were reports that the British Metropolitan Police were investigating a transaction in which the Lagos State government made an investment in Econet, now Airtel. Tinubu is said to have made the transaction and was straightforward and profitable to the state with no intermediaries involved. The federal government rejected a request by Britain to release evidence needed for further investigation and prosecution of the 3 Nigerian ex-governors in the London court. Political godfatherism and hooliganism in Lagos State. Tinubu has been widely perceived as the godfather of Lagos. His role in pulling the strings of the mega city state was exposed in, if you remember, the documentary Lion of Bodilon, into a 2015 documentary that highlighted Tinubu's political and financial grip on the city-state. Tinubu filed a 150 billion libel suit against the producers. And guess who the producers were? Atlantic AIT, not Atlantic Television Network, and the documentary stopped airing on 6th March 2015. Now, nonetheless, antecedents such as his overbearingness and successors such as in December 2009, when there were reports that Fashola and Tinubu had fallen out over the issue of Fashola's re-election in 2011, with Tinubu preferring the Commissioner for Environment, then Muiz Banire, and a similar scuffle in 2015 over Fashola's successor pitting Tinubu against him, who threw his full weight on Akiwumi Ambode. Of course, we know who later succeeded Fashola, and of course was himself ousted from office by Tinubu, replacing him with incumbents now Babajide Fashola. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Now, let's look at something very quickly. Another controversy is the use of bullion vans to influence elections, to influence elections in Lagos State. During the 2019 election, I think most of us can remember this clearly, bullion van was seen entering the Tinubu's residence on Bodilon Road in Ikoyi, with Tinubu claiming, "I keep money anywhere I want." Amechi, Tinubu has been painted a picture of larger than life.
Exactly.
However, these controversial issues around him are not being talked about. He has found a way to penetrate into corners, nooks and corners that you would not really, imagine that he has such power over. Bring it down to his demand, my life ambition. We never heard of his life ambition being to be president of Nigeria until, I didn't hear, I don't know if he heard, until 2023 elections came up. He began to say, I began to hear, my life ambition is to be the president of Nigeria. Now here we are. He has been given the platform by his party, which he said he built. He made it what it is. So the likes of Amechi and the rest, Timothy Silva and co, didn't really do much. It was just him. But let's even leave that on the side. With all the controversy surrounding Tinubu, bringing it down to the one that Nigerians are dealing with, INEC published his educational details. We heard him being in University of Chicago. We've also heard about schools he attended, but they judges on his case. He literally dared him on, but they literally dared him on the national television. Let's go there. Like, who are your classmates? Show us something. We know the story. Gave a detail of how he got into the state, became Lagos State governor and all that and all that. Yet, up till now, someone who is the debut to be the president of Nigeria in 2023, from what they call the largest party in Africa, is yet to give an answer. So with all these controversies, where does that leave Tinubu if the young Nigerians, the educated minds, are to have a say in the 2023 election?
All of those controversies will continue to dog his, whether it's his life ambition or his campaign for the #1 position in Nigeria. Because unfortunately, now, unlike before, Nigerians are becoming more aware and more prepared to participate in the process. So whether he cannot wish it away. They will continue to dog him. And it is not, Nigerians cannot understand it, and I'm not sure they will easily accept it, that their president-to-be or their, one of their presidential candidates cannot explain to them how he attended primary and secondary school. You can make whatever defense you want to make about it, whether the Constitution covers it or didn't cover it. It's inexplicable. It's because of this case now that people are beginning to even throw up the ideas that one could attend university without necessarily producing secondary school certificates and things like that. I've not fully realized how that will play out, but there are indications that that might be possible
in Nigeria.
I don't know, but not in Nigeria, because in Nigeria I know you do several clearances requesting you to produce at a point awaiting result, at another point through certificates. And so, if it's in Nigeria, I don't know how that would be. But like he said, he went to university in Chicago. He didn't say he attended any university in Nigeria. So probably over there, they might have a process how they can overlook the primary and secondary school certificate, and based on certain training that they may probably conduct for the candidate, offer him admission or training as a university candidate or graduate at the end of the day. But in Nigeria, that I'm not sure we have developed that kind of system where somebody would say, okay, university organize for me a primary training, or a training that is equivalent to attending primary school, or one that is equivalent to attending secondary school. And when I've gone through it, you now use it as a qualification to give me university admission. I've not heard about that, except maybe it operates in the secret for now. The
hierarchy of where Buhari and the likes of Tinubu, yes, dictate what happens. Because we were here, WAEC produced a WAEC result for President Mohamed Buhari, presented it to him, they took a picture with it.
I think they claimed it was to reproduce for him a lost.
Can they begin to reproduce for other Nigerians? They can, so they should be able to reproduce for Tinubu. You see, this is so critical. Looking at the character of Tinubu and how he's been able to navigate the corridors of power, political power, to get to where he is today. And before the whole world, we saw the All Progressive Congress, we saw the likes of Akpabio, we saw the likes of, in fact, I think the only woman contesting who was amongst the aspirant for the APC presidential also, stepped down for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we watched all that, and it sounded like it's a joke, but we know that it's not a joke. But here we are right now, looking at this man to become the president of Nigeria. How worried should Nigerians be if this becomes a reality? Remember, we have dealt with a Buhari for approximately 8 years now. Now we're going to may have to deal with a Tinubu for maybe another 8 years, and that's 16 years of having to tell a young person, go to school, when in actual sense, he knows he can become a president without going to school. We have to tell someone you need to work hard and make something out of yourself, when in actual sense, they know they can become a political godfather, like the political godfather of Lagos State, as Tinubu is termed, and then becomes whatever he wants. So how critical is it that we begin to extray these candidates and have to look inward to ask ourselves, is this the path we want to go?
You see, that's why I said it's very, very frightening, because already the youth are beginning to imbibe or to create an idea around the time wasted nature of education by what they call a school is calm.
Yep.
Now, I was surprised when one of my nephews, a very intelligent young man, had his future ahead of him, in education, was doing very, very well. But for some mistakes of haste, he went, instead of being patient and seeing his admission through in the university, he now, in order to have a quick one, accepted a polytechnic during his IT, he got mixed up with their gangs, and they introduced him to substances. Because he didn't have the brain, in an attempt to do it, he almost went berserk. Before you know it, the guy started talking about the guy that was like a bookworm. What he was giving him energy was studying. Started the mantra, school is calm, school is calm. But thank God he's been recovered gradually now. He's turning back to his book. But generally speaking, if you go out in the society, you will begin to hear this statement: school education or school is calm. Now, what gives vent to all of that? This kind of thing we are discussing. Why do you need to go to school if you can, by just understanding how how to manipulate
the
your
system.
laptop or an Android phone. Before you know it, you make so much money. Or before, if you can pick up arms and be enough terror around wherever you want to terrorize, you make enough money. Or okay, you are in the right political party at the right time, like we saw the delegate issue. You can make money and things like that. So these are the things that are encouraging all of that. And that is why we will now go back to the idea that, or the issue that has kept Nigeria where we are. Building strong individuals and having weak institutions. The story of rule of law is just what we mouth. Nobody wants to. In fact, Nigeria, nobody wants the law to have its way. Everybody wants to become law on themselves. Given little opportunity, they want to be above the law, and that is what is happening. Otherwise, these are issues we are supposed to interrogate, and when we interrogate them and place them, side by side, a prevailing atmosphere where the law is superior, we would have some of these things.
Well,
but because we decide to project strong individuals, that's why we're having what we are having.
Well, we have a strong individual in the person of Ahmed Bola Tinubu. There is no controversy about that.
Exactly.
But do we need strong individuals, or we need individuals who understand what the time is, who would stand up and say, this is how we're going to do it, they have the will to do it because they lack a skeleton in their cupboard? Or would we go with the crowd and say, he is a strong individual, he is the Borderland, he is the godfather of Lagos State, and that becomes the reason why we have him as a president? Otherwise, ask yourself, outside of his political corridor, outside of everything you think you have heard about Tinubu, who is this man? Does he have what it takes to represent us come 2023? We'll come back to that. Amechi has some issues he needs to trash it, but let's quickly go to Oju. I don't know how he ended up in this today, but young Nigerians are going berserk on Twitter. He made a statement, and this is the particular line that broke the camel's back today. The enthusiasm of the youth must not be wasted on poorly planned projects. You're wondering, what did he say and what happened? Pastor Bojo Oyemide is a senior pastor of the Covenant Nation Church and the host for the platform show, which he has been under fire from Nigerian youths today for giving his opinion on Peter Obi's lack of readiness to be Nigeria's president. Now, Oyemide earlier today tweeted, faith is not just blind, belief or hoping for a miracle. Faith sees, faith has eyes, open and possesses the evidence upon which it builds its belief. Faith prepares long, sometimes for years, just as Joseph did for the years of famine. Faith counts the cost before embarking. Without having real evidence upon which you are acting, nor preparation for the task, recognizing real obstacles that lie ahead, and making concrete plans, one is just being delusional about the outcome. The enthusiasm of the youth must not be wasted on poorly planned projects. He went on to say, Noah spent months, years, planning for the flood, and he was operating in faith. Jesus said, no man goes to battle without taking stock first, nor lays the foundation of a tower without counting the cost first, lest he will be mocked. Our faith is intelligent. It doesn't live in denial. Now, the reactions trailing the set tweets, which have now been deleted by Bojo Oyemade, is still trending as at the time of this report. Even as he has deleted the tweets, his name is still trending on Twitter with varied reaction. And several people have something to say about Pastor Oyemade. The question here is, why is he under such fire? Let's even say, he didn't say Peter Obi in the tweets that I read. Let's even say, as he said, Peter Obi, you're not ready. You cannot waste the enthusiasm of the youth on something you've not planned for. Let's even say he mentioned Peter Obi. Can we give the man a break? I don't know, I'm not a television network, but can we give the man a break? He's a Nigerian, he should have an opinion. Remember that he owned he's the host of the platform. This same Peter Obi right now has been Peter Obi for long years. a lot of young people didn't even know how much of an impact he's made in his personal life and in career. Let's give it to Pastor Boju Oyamode, because he was the one that invited P2B on the platform, that people that took note of P2B. I'm not saying that he may not have made a mistake, but do you think young people can actually allow someone to have an opinion that is contrary to theirs about P2B for once?
Their reaction to what he said is also their own opinion.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't know at what point on the platform. I didn't watch the platform you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's an annual. I've seen P2B more than once as a guest. I think it's an annual Independence Day event. That's the one I know. Maybe he hosts other times, but I know that Independence Day, 1st of October, he always hosts.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't know at what point in the discussion between him and P2B where P2B told him he's not prepared or he's not well prepared.
Wait, no verse. Let's come back to Nigerian language now.
Okay.
I want to do, when P2B Kai tell them, say, they prepared.
That is the thing, because that's what he's saying. That
what's his name? What's this man's name from Kogi State now? Dino Melai.
Okay.
Is coming out with, he's not prepared. And what exactly?
What does preparation take?
Okay, you took it from me.
What does preparation take, for crying out loud? Okay, for a man that knew what he wanted, he went to PDP. He stayed with PDP all through the preparation to the to this year. This year that began the process for 2023. And when he saw that his opportunity is very narrow in PDP, he resigned. He didn't wait to be told. He saw it clearly that the way he was going in PDP, he wouldn't have the capacity to compete with the other big wigs.
Yeah.
He quietly resigned and went and took up a party that could be considered
where he would be accepted.
Where he would be accepted. And getting there, he continued pursuing his ambition. Okay, maybe they mean by being not prepared when he said it was not the spirit. Maybe that is what they want to interpret as not being. But otherwise, preparation, he may not. Let me give it to him that P2B might at a point, especially at that point when he said it's not, he was not the spirit. But the events that are following his presenting himself and some of the things that can begin to make it.
Let's look at the word "I'm not desperate." Hold on. Why would he be desperate? Win or lose the 23 election, it doesn't take anything from him. This man was established before he became the governor of Anambra State, and he's been establishing businesses and running.
He has not stopped doing businesses.
Yes, let's not even go into so we don't do free promo for P2B. But why are people so what? They started with he doesn't have a structure. He's not going to win the election. That's when he came out to address it, because we were saying we are his structure, we are his structure. Then he came out to doubt it to say the people, the hungry youths, the millions of youths who have gone without education for months, who have not been able to graduate from university because the governments have failed to live up to their responsibility. The young Nigerians with aged parents that are not able to take care because there is no proper health care system in the country. The young Nigerians who don't know where the next job is going to come from or whether their boss is going to be able to pay them. And he went on that these are his structures. He shut that down. And then they are back again with he's not prepared. Babangida Aliyu, former governor of Niger State, he's not prepared. Dino Melaye, Pastor Boju, is there something, let me echo your question again. What does preparation mean in this stance? So young Nigerians have taken him to the gutters on Twitter. They don't even care this man has given P2B platform, a national platform on his annual live broadcasts on the platform.
Now, let me.
They don't want to hear that.
Let me show them what is akin to preparation here.
Okay.
Now, in 2019, I wouldn't know how many million, I can't have that statistics, of Nigerians that registered voters. At the end of the day, it was a marginal percentage of that actually voted. Okay.
A typical example is what we experience in Ekiti State.
Yeah, but now, with part of the preparation that is going on, whether it is Obi that is preparing it himself, or whether the people that want to support him are helping him to prepare, is that, okay, there has been demand for extension of registration.
Actually, yes.
It's part of the preparation. Now, the Obi coming into the scene has helped to open the eyes of a larger number of the electorates to say, okay, for the first time, I'm going to vote. For the first time, let me go and get a PVC. The people that lost their own, that didn't want to have plans to recover it, are applying for recovery. They are all part of the plan. The also part of the plan is that on that day, people will go and cast their votes.
Well, people will have to go and cast their votes, and I think that's what counts. Pastor Poju, sorry you had to experience this today. We still love you, but young Nigerians clearly saying everyone stay clear. They want to take back their country, and I hope that we all who are adults Nigerians can begin to respect everyone, especially these young people, so that they can have their time. Even if they lose, they say it doesn't matter to them, whether they are prepared or not, whether their candidate is prepared or not. I think they should be given a chance. But let's quickly do a retro on Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he's the man that we're featuring for this edition. You have something to point out. We're talking about identifiable marks of a national figure that we can relate to Tinubu. Over now to you.
Now, what I want to say is, for the people who are struggling hard to convince us or convince Nigerians about the Tinubu being the best candidate for the presidency now, is to, beyond being a politician or beyond being the governor of Lagos State, to show Nigerians Tinubu's impact in education, his impact in job creation, what Tinubu has contributed to provide adequate power for Nigerians, to instigate or to create, make Nigerians have better infrastructure, other than even the Lagos that is used as reference point. As at the time he left, Lagos was not the best of cities in Africa. There were still several slums that he left behind. And so, what is his foray in education? What is his foray in industry? What is foray in job creation, other than politics? So his campaign team has the task and the duty to really convince us that in the face of all these other controversies, we need to gloss over them and say, because of this,
we are voting
for him.
All right, thank you very much, Amechi. That's a good retro right there. So, Tinubu's campaign, over now to you.
Yes.
We are asking a question. Being Nigeria's president means being a national figure, not just because you belong to a political party. Let's get to know what your impact in healthcare so far. Let's get to know your impact in education outside of Lagos State. What have you done in health? What have you done in the economy outside of Lagos State? Bring something to the table. If we are going to listen and say we are voting for Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidates of the All Progressive Congress, because in the 2023 election, the people have a stake, and they are out to ensure that their stake counts irrespective of who may not want it to. Young Nigerians are saying it's 2023 and they are stakeholders and they are doing whatever it takes to get that done. And that's been our show on the 2023 elections tonight. My name is Vivian Douglas, but again, hold on. We are not done. We are just leaving the set for the global news. But let's go to our social media handles and continue this conversation. On Twitter, we are Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube, we are at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram, we are Atlantic TV Network. So let's get there, continue with this conversation, push it forward, because it's 2023 election and we, the people, have a stake. Again, peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Have a fantastic night.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election?
ATN Global News at 9. First, the headlines. Rivers Abattoir, butchers, traders lament slow pace of work at sites. Anambra State, government marks hundreds of shops for demolition in Onitsha. Arms Control, NCCSALW, National Coordinator set up regional offices for arms control. Osun election, Police Commission dispatch personnel for Osun governorship poll. 2023 election, INEC to extend dates for continuous voter registration to July 31st. In Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe's Sri Lanka Prime Minister sworn in as acting president. This is ATN Global News, and I am Adejumo Adekunle. In the details of the story, butchers and traders at the proposed Mboshimini Abattoir in Rumeme community in Obiakwa Local Government Council in Rivers State have lamented the slow pace of work at the site. The proposed abattoir, which is situated at the waterfront, is functioning simultaneously with the construction work. Although site was fenced to the ward of trespassers, looks abandoned with entrances are still under lock and key. Traders around the makeshift market beside the site said construction work had commenced last year but stopped abruptly in May, speculating delay in mobilization as the reason for the stop of the work. However, a trader said she saw workers on Monday but could not figure out why the site was locked ever since. She also lamented low patronage, blaming it on slow pace of work at the abattoir. Also, some butchers disclosed that the abattoir at the time had the capacity of slaughtering 40 cows per day, but the ongoing construction of the new abattoir, which took part of the land, has left the abattoir with less than 20 cows per day. One of the butchers lamented that work at the proposed abattoir stopped around May, and since then, nothing has been happening at the site. Reacting to this, a top government official who preferred anonymity said the project is ongoing regardless of pace, assuring that it will be delivered in due time. The butchers and traders urged the government to expedite action on the abandoned abattoir sites. The senator representing Akwa Ibom North-East Senatorial District, Senator Basi Akpan, has resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party, on which platform he was elected into the Red Chamber. Akpan, who is the chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, made his intention known in a letter he personally signed dated July 15, 2022. In the letter addressed to the ward chairman of the Ibom Eastern Ward 1 in the Ibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Akpan cited his ambition to vie for the governorship seat of the state, which he said cannot be actualized under the platform of the People's Democratic Party. The letter, titled Resignation of My Membership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, read, "It is with the greatest sense of responsibility, purpose, and love for my people that I make this bold communication. I have been a loyal and committed member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for over 20 years, and have, through the platform of the party, served our people, state, and nation diligently without any blemish, and I have, by God's grace, contributed positively and impactfully to the growth and development of our dear country, state, and our people in general. I believe as a lawmaker, and a distinctive one at that, I must at all times advocate and pursue virtues and values that promote and sustain effective adherence to the rule of law." And the former Rivers State All Progressive Congress factional chairman, Honorable Golden Ben Choma, has said the key reasons for his defection in the party is due to poor leadership and reward system. Speaking as a guest on Atlantic Television Network on Friday, the former Rivers APC factional chairman said the APC as a party nationally is doing well, but the Rivers APC is dead. Speaking further, he said, before leaving the party, no one was given the opportunity to aspire, including himself.
That ever since I left, a whole lot of others have left. You know that? They all left for various reasons. But the key reason, if you read it between the lines, is that we have had a poor leadership in the party. And the reward system of the party, the very abysmal, as I said earlier. It would be unfortunate for us in 2023 or 2022 to still be the same way we were 10 years ago is unfortunate. But the most important thing here, and I want the viewers to take home, is that the APC as a party nationally is doing well. But the APC in the state is there. No longer thinking is there. Because it's unfortunate where people would labor, and for all their labor they have nothing to show for it. My friend and brother here is also a victim of that issue. I call him my sparring partner. In the days of APC, if I have to have a TV program, he represents the other faction. Then, what was the reward? Nothing. Rather, people down the line who I consider better bootleggers would be taken up and given better things. Why those who actually do the work are not considered for anything? Only when there is war, you get the good hands. But when there is peace, you go for the dead woods to continue to do your bidding. And I think that is over. Everybody's wiser now. And people are saying it. States, River State. Before I left the party, I'm a statutory delegate of the party. My friend there is also a statutory delegate of the party before he also left. Nobody was given an opportunity to aspire. It is either you are one of those that know how to say supreme leader. If you cannot pronounce the word supreme attached to the appellation of somebody, then you're not loyal. For those who could do that, they were given. Or their ambitions were anointed with benevolent coconut oil. I never aspired. Because it was unfair what was happening in the party.
Charles, who represented Brass Constituency 1 in the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, was dismissed by the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, because he switched parties from the All Progressive Congress APC to the People's Democratic Party PDP. Following Charles' defection to the PDP, APC hauled him into court and demanded his dismissal. APC decided to go to the appeal court after Honorable Charles won the case at the Federal High Court in Yenagoa, which was presided over by Justice Issa Dashan. But the justices of the Court of Appeal, Joseph Shagwa Ike, Gabriel Omoniyi Kolawole, and Olabode A. Adenigbegbi, in the suit numbered CAPH 79-2022, said the decision of the lower court, Federal High Court, delivered on the 11th of January on the legality of his defection is set aside, and that upon his defection from the APC being the platform on which he was elected, Honorable Daniel Charles should have vacated his seat at the State House of Assembly on the 14th April 2021 by virtue of Section 109, Subsection 1, Subsection G, and Subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Charles responded by describing the Court of Appeal's decision as disappointing in the light of his unalienable right to freedom of association. From the very moment we joined the PDP, the plan of the opposition party was to distract us with litigation. But by the grace of God, we will continue to remain focused and deliver the dividends of democracy to our people. So there is no cause for alarm, he said. The Delta Anti-Cult Ibusa Division and local vigilantes arrested 25 Black Axe confraternity members, also known as Ayi, during initiation ceremony at Zion Road, Ibusa, Asaba. The police recovered 3 Aye confraternity regalia, a military vest, pair of Aye confraternity stocks, drugs, and 3 quart-sized locally made guns, 4 live cartridges, a gallon of substance suspected to be liquid hard drug, 4 vehicles, and 4 motorcycles. The Delta State Police Command, led by CP Ari Muhammad Ali, confirmed the report in a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Bright Edafe. The Anambra State government had last week already commenced the demolition of buildings and structures considered to be sitting on drainages and waterways. Among those already demolished are 2 Catholic churches and another Pentecostal church owned by controversial Pastor Chukwuemeka Ohamenere alias Pastor Odumeje. Meanwhile, more structures have been marked for demolition, this time in the busy Ochanga market. A team led by the Anambra State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Dr. Obinna Ngonadi, who were in the market today, were said to have marked several hundreds of shops for demolition. The structures were said to be either illegal structures or unfit structures and have been marked for removal. In recent times, the plan of Governor Chukwuma Soludo to make Anambra a livable state will cost many home and shop owners their property. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network.
Meet the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter Atlantic TV Net. For sponsorship 0810 634 1777. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics. 2023 elections. Who are the candidates? What do you know about them? Take a seat, relax, and join us for the 2023 elections on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes, DTH, Channel 194, or ATN Live on Google Play Store and all our social media platforms. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Elections 2023 from Mondays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Election 2023. We the people have a stake.
Global News, and now to other stories. An aide to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Rank Shaibu, said Governor Nyesom Wike will not leave the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Shaibu, while reacting to the meeting by the All Progressive Congress governors who visited Rivers Hemsman, Nyesom Wike said the PDP is Wike's last bus stop. Earlier, the governors of Ekiti, Ondo, and Lagos State, Kayode Fayemi, Rotimi Akeredolu, and Babajide Sanwo-Olu, met Wike in Port Harcourt. Shaibu said the trip was to bring Wike to their fold or strike a deal with him, courtesy of one of their newest converts. Shaibu said the people were not interested in the APC because they sleep with one of their eyes closed due to the high level of insecurity. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the lawyer to the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has faulted claims that the embattled IPOB leader is missing. In a statement titled Important Clarification released by the lawyer today, he called on the people to disregard a certain audio clip making the rounds online that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was missing, adding that Mr. Kanu is currently in the DSS facility. The information is fake a blatant lie and should be totally ignored by Ezigbo Umuchineke. As a matter of fact, court-ordered routine visit was conducted yesterday, and Oyendo spent time with those that visited him, he said. This is following the recent claim by the IPOB that it was not unmindful of an alleged plan to attack its leaders at the Kuje prison by men of the DSS, given the Kuje jailbreak. The National Coordinator, National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, Major General Abba Diko, retired, said the center has set up regional offices for arms control across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. The office was located in Maiduguri, in Maiduguri from the northeast, Kaduna from northwest, Minna north central, Enugu southeast, Calabar south-south, and Ado-Ekiti southwest. Speaking during a strategic engagement with civil society organization on the control of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria, Diko said the operationalization of the center has focused on discharging its core function on providing a strategic platform for arms control in Nigeria through close partnership with stakeholders, especially the civil society, both locally and internationally. It is a common knowledge that Nigeria has borne the brunt of the instability in the Sahel region, occasioned by the push and pull effect of armed trafficking. Chairman of the Adamawa State Chapter of the All Progressive Congress, Ibrahim Bila, has called on Nigerians, especially adherents of the Christian faith, not to lose sleep over the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as running mate to the presidential flag bearer Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bila said he cannot foresee Tinubu's presidency hurting the Christian faith or religion with the choice of the former Borno State governor as the APC's vice presidential candidate. According to him, Tinubu's presidency will do no harm to the Christendom and Christians in Nigeria because Tinubu had no records suggesting that he was a bigot or fanatic of his own Islamic faith to cause any Christians to lose sleep if he eventually becomes president. He said, Tinubu's presidency will do no harm to Christians and the practice of their religion because of his, Tinubu's, shared faith with history. So nobody should lose sleep about a Tinubu-Shettima presidency. Bila, who also said he felt compelled to lend his voice over the raging controversies surrounding Tinubu's choice of a Muslim running mate, added that ordinarily the choice of Shettima as a running mate was made based on careful consideration of what will enhance the presidential candidate's chances. And a political scientist, Eze Christian Akani, has said the problems bedeviling the country can be traced to colonialism. He further said those who inherited political power to control the post-colonial state, Nigeria, have no control over the grassroots. Eze Christian Akani, who appeared as a guest on ATN's Open Conversation, also added that it is a historical fallacy to state that the religious structure will favor a particular section of the country. He noted that politicians have no public interest rather than selfish interest, as their main aim is to appropriate funds privately.
The problems we are having in this country can be located in the womb of colonialism. Among other things, colonialism distorted our economy, our pre-colonial institutions, and incubated a crop of ruling class that will be devoid of extremist elements that will take over from them. So those that inherited political power to take over, to handle the post-colonial state we call Nigeria today, they have many characteristics. There are many. One of them is that they don't have control of the grassroots. Two, their main aim is appropriation of private property. And how do they do it? Because they don't have any entrepreneurial skill. They are not engaged in production. They now have a firm grip on political power. Now, in order to sustain this political power, they have to engage in primordial sensibilities. And these have been the current thing right from 1960 now. Primordial sensibilities, religion, ethnicity, regionalism, and other things that can make them sustain themselves in power. When they are going for power, they give the impression that they have the mandate of their people. But as soon as they get into political power, they forget the people. And that is why you hear things like religion. The bourgeois class in Nigeria of national extraction are giving the impression that the religion, modern religion, they want to protect it for themselves and for the whole polo in the north. But this is historical fallacy. For instance, the north has ruled for many years in this country, but the incidence of poverty is very high there. Why? It is assumed that they are going for the interest of all Muslims in the north. But when they get to power, they won't do anything. Why is it that the Niger Delta that is crying, the poverty rates cannot be compared to those in the north? So, whether Muslim or Christian, they belong to the same class. What animates them is to have a firm grip on political power. When you have political power, you cannot consolidate your economic power. This is why some of them will be a member of a political party today. And when they see that their political vision cannot be actualized, they run to another party, which is contrary to the main tenets of political party. And that is why we're in trouble. As the discussion goes on, we will begin to see that what they are saying is just to blindfold us. A historical fallacy. Unfortunately, we have a fooliship that is trivialized. Let me stop it there.
All right. Hollywood actress Iyabo Ojo has spoken out following the sentencing of her colleague Olanrewaju Ominyinka alias Baba Ijesha. According to reports, the actor Olanrewaju Ominyinka was arraigned before the Ikeja Domestic Violence and Sexual Offense Court, Lagos, where he had faced 6-count charges of child defilement that include indecent treatment of a child, sexual assault, attempted sexual assault by penetration, and sexual assault by penetration. Justice Taiwo Oluwatoyin had on Thursday delivered judgment on the matter and stated that the prosecution failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the defendant was guilty of all the charges against him. Reacting to the sentence via her Instagram page, the Real Housewives of Lagos reality TV star said the judgment was a victory for victims of abuse. She also admonished those going through abuse to speak up and never remain silent. She also said to all the girl and boy child being abused, never be afraid to speak up and speak out. This is victory for you. And the Nigerian Center for Disease Control is set for pandemic preparedness evaluation exercise across the 36 states and the FCT to assess their capacities to prevent and detect and rapidly respond to public health risks. Dr. Ifedayo Adetife, the Director General of NCDC, disclosed this on yesterday during Abuja during a health security policy dialogue hosted by Nigerian Health Watch. At the dialogue entitled Decentralizing Health Security, Lessons from COVID-19 Response, Atlantic Television Network reports that the joint external evaluation is a voluntary evaluation of a country's ability to detect, manage, and prevent disease threat. The G is the guide for development of the National Action Plan for Health Security, which is used to determine funding requirements, technical capacity, and other resources needed to bridge major gaps identified. Recall that Nigeria conducted the last G in 2017. Adetifa pointed out that the outcome of the assessment would enhance the country's level of pandemic preparedness and plan to strengthen health security. The DG stressed that one of the agency's priorities was to provide support and coordination for optimal epidemic preparedness and responses in the states. The Kano State Police Command said it has arrested a vehicle loaded with 135 parcels of dried leaves suspected to be cannabis sativa Indian hemp. The Command Police Public Relations Officer, SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, made the disclosure in a statement on Friday in Kano. He said the vehicle was arrested by police patrol team at the Damagiri village, Rago local government area of Kano State Kastina border on Thursday. During a search, a 135 parcel of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp valued at least 1.3 million naira were recovered in the vehicle, he said. Haruna Kiyawa said the investigation conducted revealed that the driver dealt in buying and selling Indian hemp in the States. And the World Youth Skill Day is celebrated every year on July 15 to highlight the importance of equipping young people with skills for employment and entrepreneurship. The World Youth Skill Day was declared on July 15 by the United Nations General UNGA. The day aims to provide a unique opportunity for dialogue between young people, technical and vocational education and training institutions, firms, employers and workers' organizations, policymakers and development partners. Speaking in an interview with Atlantic Society Watch on Friday, a business development consultant, Kinsley Ime, said skill is a necessary prerequisite for every young person in this current dispensation. He further said it is the duty of the government to provide an enabling environment for young people to thrive. He also urged the government to create vocational training skills in the university. Let's take a listen to him.
Learning and having a skill cannot be overemphasized because it's one of the necessary things that every young person of this dispensation should equip themselves with. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, I use the word unfortunately because even if the government cannot provide jobs entirely for the nations and its citizenry, I think it's not completely okay for the presidency to just say that there are no jobs completely, right? Because the expectation of the government is to create an enabling environment, is to encourage young people either by some sort of motivation, some sort of incentives that would enable and encourage them, and of course educate them the necessity of getting skills. The impact of not getting skills is one thing, the impact of getting skills is another thing. And if we start from the impact of not getting a skill, is already showing in our society, especially in Nigeria. As we speak, we have a lot of young people that are out of job. They don't even have a job in the first place, right? And then secondly, that impact is turning into some of the things that we are praying not to happen in the society that is happening today. I mean, there are a lot of young people who are engaging in activities that are against the society, affecting the society. You could talk about the internet fraud, you could talk about the kidnappings, you could talk about and all that that is happening that is on the negative in the society. I mean, that's as a result of the fact that a lot of these individuals either do not have the skills or have not been pointed to the right direction, that these are certain skills that you should begin to develop and begin to embrace. Before now, we do not take, you know, it just came to mind, there's this place here in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, where we call Craft Development Center. You know, back in the days, those who go for Craft Development Center were looked at to study, were looked at as people who are not academically sound, you know, so they should just go there, you know. But now it's now a necessity. I feel that skills and vocational trainings and aptitudes should be inculcated into our universities. So you're not just learning a profession, you're also looking at the skills attached to the profession. You understand what I mean? And not just the skill of being able to analyze and take surgical operations, for instance, as a doctor. There should be other skills that you should know and be good at, such that if the hospitals don't have enough space to employ you as a doctor, you could do some of that thing. So for me, the impact of youth, a young person having a skill, is so important in the sense that the revolutions of great nations, the economic transformations of the great nations we celebrate today were done by young people who discovered skill, or who discovered their talent and their giftings and be able to prune them into a professional skills, that they have used those skills to solve the problems in their society, in their nation, have been able to create businesses out of it.
Election, the Police Service Commission has dispatched staff monitors to the 30 local government areas of Osun State to monitor the conduct of police officers during the state governorship election holding on Saturday. The commission will also be at the Situation Room of the Civil Society Organization and Security Control Room at the Police State Command Headquarters in Osogbo, capital state of Osun. The first batch of the Commission's delegation arrived at Osun State last Tuesday, while the second batch are expected in the various local government areas on Thursday. Commission Chairman Musiliu Smith, a retired Inspector General of Police, urged police officers involved in the security of the election to beat records set during the recently held Ekiti governorship election that was widely adjudged to be free and fair. Smith called for greater commitment from the police so that the Osun State election will signpost a bright future for elections policing, especially as the nation counts down to 2023 general election. He advised the staff of the Commission to strive to also maintain a high level of commitment, adding that the Commission will not hesitate to punish any staff found wanting during the national assignment. The police officer he admonished should work professionally and avoid all partisan tendencies during the election. He said the Commission has already released dedicated telephone numbers for interested Nigerians to call to complain of any infraction or commend exemplary conduct of the police officers during the elections. The numbers which the public are to call are 080-556-606514, 080-3345-362, and 070-371-58656. The Police Service Commission has announced the constitutional responsibility to appoint, promote, dismiss, and exercise disciplinary control on all police officers with the exception of the Inspector General of Police. The Commission also believes that the success of the election in the country hugely depends on the ability of the police to maintain law and order during such elections where every Nigerian will have an unhindered opportunity to exercise his or her democratic right to vote and be voted for, and for such votes to count. The Commission also determined to ensure that this is entrenched in the country through this deliberate effort to ensure the police, the lead agency in internal security, including election security, operates within established rules and regulation. This is contained in a statement by Head Press and Public Relations Officer Ikechukwu Ani. And the federal government of Nigeria and the government of Bangladesh is set to sign a memorandum of understanding on water resources and common grounds of training, engaging, building, and developing the waterways in both countries, and to establish a bilateral relationship for mutual and future benefits. This was disclosed during a courtesy visit by the Bangladesh ambassador to Nigeria, Masudu Rahman, on Abuja on Friday. Our Abuja correspondent Norma Omeje tells us more. Moving on, a federal high court sitting in Abuja on Friday barred journalists from covering and witnessing the late gospel singer Osinachi's children's testimony. According to the court, this is as a result of granting 3 oral applications made by Aderonke Imana, the prosecution counsel, on June 22. Aderonke filed the application during the court hearing in the alleged culpable homicide case against Peter Nwachukwu, the late singer's husband, who is currently being remanded in prison. Record that Ekweme Corona died on April 8 as a result of alleged domestic violence and was buried on June 25 at her hometown Isochi, Umunachi in Abia State. Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety FROSC Boboye Oyeyemi has ordered that owners of vehicles with faded and unauthorized plate numbers should be arrested. The IGP on Wednesday ordered a total ban on the use of spy police number plates by vehicle owners across the state without exception. He said this would forestall the continuous disregard of traffic rules and regulation. However, FROSC spokesperson BC Kazim in a statement said Oyeyemi commended the IGP on the ban and approved the joint effort of the Corps with the Nigerian police to ensure compliance with the order. Oyeyemi stated that FROSC will impound vehicles with faded plate numbers and private vehicles with commercial plate numbers. He noted that the use of faded and unauthorized vehicle number plates has implication on national security. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Friday said it will end continuous voter registration, CVRO, for 2023 election on July 31st. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye, in a statement, said the Commission's extension of voter registration to mid-July has been extended till the end of July for all voter registration in the country. Okoye explained that INEC met in an extraordinary session today, Friday, 15 July 2022, and discussed, among other things, the suspension of the ongoing continuous voter registration. Okoye further explained that INEC's decision followed the judgment delivered by the Federal High Court on Wednesday, July 13, 2022, in which it dismissed the suit filed by the Socio-Economic Right Accountability Project, which is seeking an extension of the exercise beyond 30th June 2022. The exercise has also been extended to 8 hours daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. instead of the current duration of 6 hours, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. The exercise is also extended to include weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, as against only weekends. Okoye explained that there's a lot that the Commission is required to do under the electoral legal framework in relation to voter registration and compilation of voter register that will require time to accomplish. Barely 24 hours to the Osun State governorship election on Saturday, about 11,226 personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have been deployed to all the 31 local government areas to ensure the peaceful and orderly conduct of the election. Commandant General of the Corps, Dr. Ahmed Aoudi, gave approval for the deployment for effective coverage and manning of polling units, collation centers, and protection of critical national assets before, during, and after the elections. Audi enjoined the personnel to work hand in hand with other security agencies to forestall any form of unrest or breach of peace in the 3,763 polling units throughout the 31 local council. The Commandant General said the deployed personnel were drawn from the national headquarters and 9 state commands of Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, Kwara, Kogi, and Edo. He said the CG stated the objective of the Corps in the forthcoming election is to create a secured environment for its successful conduct and enhance the general security in the state before, during, and after the election. He explained that personnel had attended various workshops on best practices during elections. They have also been acquainted with the provisions of the Electoral Act as regards to rules of engagement, hence must comply with Corps' operational code, standard operating procedure, and above all, display high level of professionalism throughout the election. This robust operational order has been activated to ensure a hitch-free exercise and guide against molestation and intimidation of the electorate by hoodlums or party thugs. Dr. Audi hinted that in readiness for the election, Corps undercover personnel from the national headquarters have joined their counterparts in Osun State for covert operation to nip any security compromise in the bud. The NSCDC boss said Deputy Commandant General in charge of operations, Dauda Mangudi, would oversee the election exercise. His directive is contained in a statement by the Director of Public Relations of Corps, Olushola Odumosu. Troops of Hadin Kai have continued to take the battle to Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African province enclaves with more coordinated operations leading to surrendering of 6 top terrorist commanders. Defense Headquarters spokesman Major General Bernard Onyuko disclosed this at the bi-weekly briefing in Abuja. According to him, the terrorist leaders surrendered to the troops in Guazo on Wednesday, July 13th. It is pertinent to note that since the surrendering of the terrorists to own troops, the high caliber of commanders surrendered at this time is unprecedented, among them Wali Governor, Kaid, and 3 state commanders. The surrendered are Malam Hassan, Ali Madagi, Musa Bashir, Buba Dahiru, Jafar Hama, and Abali Nakib Polisawa. Also, about 3,858 Boko Haram terrorists and their families surrendered between 1st to the 14th of July 2022, comprising 505 male, 1,042 female, and 2,311 children, General Onyonko disclosed. Furthermore, the military spokesperson noted that in the theater, troops neutralized several Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province terrorists within the period under review at different encounters at the Gamaja village in Dikwa local government area, Dikwa Gamba Ngala Road, Polka Gwala Road, Borno State, among others. Several terrorist logistics suppliers and collaborators were arrested as items at various logistics towns within the theater. Among them were 2 women, namely Hawa Gambo, Khadija Dissa. In a related development, on 11 July 2022, the air component of Operational Hadin Kai conducted an air interdiction operation at Tumbu Jaki and Tumbu Moha near Lake Chad in Borno State on the receipt of intelligence report on the activities of insurgents in the general area. General Oyinko said the successful airstrike neutralized several Boko Haram terrorists and destroyed their hideout. According to information received from local indicates that over 21 terrorists were neutralized in the airstrike. Consequently, between 1 to 14 July 2022, troops neutralized 42 terrorists, arrested 10 suspected terrorists, captured 17 AK-47 rifle, 1 QTC rifle, 1 RPG bomb, 1 RPG tube, 5 hand grenades, 120 rounds of 5.5 mm, 54 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition, 151 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO, 60 rounds of 12.7 108 mm, 2 armor links, 5 Dane gun, 8 rounds of fabricated 7.62 millimeter ammunition, 1 smoke grenade, 2 locally made explosives, 23 empty AK-47 magazine, and 5 FN magazine. The military spokesperson said all surrendered Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province terrorists and their families were profiled and documented, while recovered items apprehended suspected terrorists were handed over to the appropriate authority for further action. President Muhammadu Buhari has called for the establishment of an international anti-corruption court to try offenders. He said, distinguished participants and fellow African leaders, corruption is evil and all efforts at tackling it are desirable. I have monitored fight against corruption in Africa and I can see both successes and drawbacks. The battle must continue for the sake of the continent and its people, no matter the difficulties. In Nigeria, the fight against corruption has been vigorous since 2015, and a lot has been achieved in the areas of arrest, prosecution, conviction, asset recovery, and anti-corruption laws. I must admit that the fight has not been a bed of roses. Truly, a lot more of work in many fronts is required. For example, civil and public servants must be ethical and professional at all times. The private sector must contribute in curbing corruption, and the international community needs to disclose safe havens. The judiciary requires more impetus. Perhaps an international anti-corruption criminal court is needed, he said. President Buhari said family and religious values will have to be upgraded and schools have a lot of work to do for better society. I am extremely delighted to address the participants as we celebrate the Africa Day of Anti-Corruption. Distinguished participants, we have come a long way in the fight against corruption in Nigeria and Africa in general. May I use this opportunity to appreciate fellow African leaders for their individual and collective effort in fighting corruption on our continent. I appreciate all of you for the confidence reposed in me being the African champion on anti-corruption. I understand the theme for 2022 is strategy and mechanism for transparent management of COVID-19 fund, lessons from the pandemic in Nigeria. We respond to the COVID-19 pandemic swiftly and having tamed it, we have realized the need for more awareness campaign on health issues and more investment in health sector. Again, service delivery requires checkmating corruption. I have come to realize that nations in Africa have to ensure that national resources are not taken to safe havens around the world and must curtail illicit financial flow in all ramifications. Also, we must work collectively to recover all resources abroad. We must show looters and crime does not pay by depriving them of the proceeds of their crime. Also, elite greed and irresponsibility must be eradicated in Africa. Again, ethics, decency, decorum, and respect for rule of law must be promoted in Africa. It is important to note strategies for behavioral changes in Africa if corruption is to be tamed. This will ensure that national resources are allowed to serve the population and not a tiny few, he added. In Nigeria, I am very proud of our anti-corruption agencies, our law enforcement agencies, and our regulatory bodies for their effort at checking criminalities, including corruption. I am very deeply appreciated them for their sacrifice, the president said. Our youth have no place to go and live with dignity but in Africa. As I am leaving office next day, I am proud to leave behind the legacy of fighting corruption among others. Personally, I abhor corruption and will render my best in and out of office to get rid of corruption in Nigeria and Africa in general. I urge our youth to join me in this noble cause, he said. He urged African leaders to work together at whatever level to get rid of corruption in Africa, adding that posterity will judge us right if we deal with corruption as appropriate. The president said it was imperative to kill corruption in Nigeria and Africa. It will give our citizens a better life, the president asserted. And the National Industrial Courts in Abuja has ordered the federal government to begin immediate review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers in Nigeria. Justice Osato Hamenwe Obaseki Osage, who gave the order on Friday, held that the current salaries and allowances of judicial officers in the country are not only abysmally low, but embarrassing. The judge gave the order while delivering judgment in a suit filed against the federal government by Chief Sebastian Horn, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He ordered federal government to commence a monthly payment of 10 million naira to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, 9 million naira to other justices of the Supreme Court, 9 million naira to President of Court of Appeal. Also, to benefit from the salary review are the appeal court justices who would get 8 million naira, chief justices of both federal and state high court 8 million naira, while judges of the federal and state high court would receive 7 million naira. Obaseki Osage held that the refusal of the government to review the judicial officer's salary and allowances for 14 years was unconstitutional, unlawful, and should be compelled to do the needful. He regretted that if it was unfortunate that justices and judges who are ministers in the temple of justice have become victims of injustices in the country. And to other stories now in the international scene, Sri Lanka Ranil Wickremesinghe, Lanka's Prime Minister, was sworn in as acting president. Sri Lanka's Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has been sworn in into power as acting president. His office was to replace Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who fled to Singapore following months of protest against him. Wickremesinghe, 73, took his oath of office before Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya. Wickremesinghe's office said in a brief statement, last week, Sri Lanka's president submitted his resignation after heavy protests that led to the occupancy of his official residence, which forced him to resign. The protest, which saw to the termination of Ranil, was said to be triggered by his country's worst ever economic crisis. Over now to our Lagos studios for more international news with Christopher Lucky.
You're welcome to the international segment of the Atlantic Global News. I am Christopher Lucky. Today is World Youth Skills Day. In 2014, the United Nations General Assembly declared 15 July as World Youth Skills Day to celebrate the strategic importance of equipping young people with skills for employment, decent work and entrepreneurship. Since then, World Youth Skills Day has provided a unique opportunity for dialogue between young people, technical and vocational education and training institutions, firms, employers and workers' organizations, policymakers and development partners. World Youth Skills Day 2022 takes place amid concerted efforts towards socioeconomic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic that are interconnected with challenges such as climate change, conflict, persistent poverty, rising inequality, rapid technological change, demographic transition, and others. Young women and girls, young persons with disabilities, youth from poorer households, rural communities, indigenous peoples and minority groups, as well as those who suffer the consequences of violent conflict and political instability, continue to exclude due to a combination of factors. In addition, the crisis has accelerated several transitions the world of work was already undergoing, which add layers of uncertainty regarding the skills and competencies that will be in demand after the pandemic is overcome. Mali's military-led government said on Thursday it was temporarily suspending troop rotations by the UN peacekeeping mission, days after arresting 49 soldiers from Ivory Coast who said had arrived in the country without permission. Mali's ruling junta, which seized power in an August 2020 coup, has repeatedly butted heads with many of its traditional partners, following sanctions and condemnation over election delays and its security cooperation with Russian mercenaries. When the UN Security Council renewed MINUSMA's mandate last month, Malian authorities vowed to defy UN calls to allow freedom of movement for peacekeepers to investigate human rights abuses. The suspension of troop rotations for the nearly 12,000-strong mission will remain in place until Malian officials can organize a meeting with MINUSMA's representatives to discuss coordination between the two sides, Mali's foreign ministry said in a statement. The United Nations called for an urgent settlement after the suspension was announced and said it was ready for immediate discussions to resolve the matter. Rotation of contingents is crucially important for the mission's operational effectiveness and the safety and security of personnel, Deputy UN spokesman Farhan Haq told reporters in New York, adding that some of the affected staff should have been relieved several months ago. Ivory Coast says the soldiers were deployed as part of a security and logistics support contract signed with the mission in 2019 and that they were the 8th rotation sent to Mali under the convention. The Speaker of Sri Lanka's parliament formally accepted President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation on Friday after he fled to Singapore to escape a popular uprising brought about by his country's worst economic crisis in 7 decades. From this point, we will move to constitutionally appoint a new president, the Speaker Mahinda Yapa told reporters. It will happen quickly and successfully. I request everyone to support this process. Rajapaksa landed in Singapore on Thursday, having fled to the Maldives early on Wednesday on a military jet along with his wife and 2 security guards. Protesters stormed his residence and office last Saturday. We are so happy today that he resigned, and we feel that when we, the people, come together, we can do everything, said Aruna, 34, a school teacher who had been camping at the main protest site opposite the presidential secretariat for the past 3 months. We are the real power in this country. The news of Rajapaksa's resignation, first sent by an email to the speaker before a hard copy was delivered, triggered jubilation in Sri Lanka's main city, Colombo, late on Thursday. Crowds set off firecrackers, shouted slogans and danced ecstatically at the Gota Go Gama protest site, named mockingly after Rajapaksa's first name. Speaker Abe said he hoped to complete the process of selecting a new president in 7 days and that Parliament will reconvene on Saturday. The agenda for the weekend meeting will be decided on Friday, and the voting for the next president in Parliament was scheduled for July 20. Instagram on Thursday reported issues with the photo sharing application, according to Down Detector. Nearly 24,000 users of Instagram were impacted by 5 p.m. according to outage tracking website Down Detector, which collates status reports from a number of sources in the United States. We are aware that some people are having trouble accessing Instagram. We are working to get things back to normal and apologize for any inconvenience, a Meta spokesperson said in an emailed statement. Currently, about 2,000 users are affected by the outage, according to Down Detector. Earlier on Thursday, Twitter had a near 3-hour outage that affected as many as 50,000 users at its peak, according to downdetector.com. Late last year, Meta had a nearly 6-hour-long outage, which kept WhatsApp, Instagram, and Messenger out of reach for billions of users. The 5 remaining contenders to be Britain's next Prime Minister will go head-to-head in the first of 3 televised debates on Friday, hoping a good performance will boost their chances in a battle that so far has no clear front-runner. An initial field of 11 challengers has been whittled down following 2 days of votes by lawmakers from the ruling Conservative Party, but no individual has yet emerged as the obvious successor to Boris Johnson, who announced he was stepping down following a series of scandals. While ex-finance minister Rishi Sunak has stopped those who vote, he faces stiff competition from foreign ministers Liz Truss, who has the blocking of number of senior figures, and junior trade minister Penny Mordaunt, who polls suggest is the most popular with party members who will decide the winner. Former Equalities Minister Kemi Bentnock and Tom Tonghart, Chair of Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, also remain in the running and will hope that strong showing in the televised debates will inject momentum into their campaigns. After the TV debates, lawmakers' ballots will resume on Monday, with the candidates with the fewest votes eliminated each time until a final 2 are chosen by July 21. The new leader will then be selected by the country's 200,000 Conservative Party members and will be announced on September 5th. And that's the size of the package on today's edition of the International News segment on your Global News. I am Christopher Lucky. Back to you, Port Harcourt.
Let's now join Adaobi for the entertainment stories.
Welcome to the entertainment segment of the Global News. And today on the news, our very first story, Nigerian film executive Wangi Umba Uzoku has been named Amazon Prime Video's first head of local originals in Nigeria. The former Mnet West Africa regional director will now directly oversee both scripted and non-scripted Prime Video content in Nigeria. Confirming the new position, Ned Mitchell, head of originals for Africa and the Middle East for Amazon Studios, shared the good news on LinkedIn. An outpouring of congratulatory messages for Uzoku has since flooded social media following the announcement. Nollywood actress Funke Akindele has revealed that she has what it takes to help the People's Democratic Party win in the next governorship election in Lagos State. The movie star, who is the running mate for the governorship candidate Olajide Adediran, popularly called Jando, made this known during a chat with newsmen. It would be recalled that Akindele was recently announced as the running mate of the PDP governorship candidate in Lagos State. Akindele said she decided to accept the mandate to help women and improve the well-being of youths and the girl child. Moving on to our next story, comedian Damilola Adekoya, also known as Princess, has rained curses on actors Yomi Fabiyi, Iya Rainbow, former Lagos State Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumosu, and others after the Lagos State Special Offences Court sentenced Baba Ijesha to 16 years imprisonment for sexually assaulting her daughter. Princess had accused Baba Ijesha of defiling her foster daughter, and he was charged to court. The charges against him bordered on allegations of indecent treatment of a child, sexual assault, attempted sexual assault by penetration, and sexual assault by penetration. At the judgment on Thursday, the presiding judge found him guilty of 2 counts, while the prosecution could not prove the count on sexual assault by penetration and attempted sexual assault by penetration. Following the judgment, Princess took to her Instagram page to slam and curse those who attacked her when she came public with the allegations. We move to the foreign scene now. In Uganda, Oscar-winning actor Terrence Howard is in Uganda, where he announced the development of several scientific initiatives that also form part of plans to boost funding and tourism to the nation. Howard's effort comes as Uganda seeks to attract investment from historical diasporas in a drive led by Senior Presidential Advisor on Diaspora Affairs, Ambassador Abe Walusimbi. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni also offered Howard support, suggesting policymakers best suited to the cause and offering land for any potential development. Reacting to this, Howard thanked Museveni and hailed his Pan-African spirit. Following the rumors that Canadian rapper Drake has been arrested in Sweden, the artist's team has come out to debunk the claims. Speculations of his arrest hit social media on Thursday night as unverified reports rumored that the rapper had been arrested at a Stockholm nightclub by the local police. The reports further alleged that the rapper and his bodyguard were arrested for illegal possession of cannabis. Drake's team, however, told newsmen that the rumors were false. His team categorically stressed that the Grammy winner was in his hotel in the Swedish capital and had not been arrested. And that's all on the news today. I am Adobe. Thanks for watching. Back to the news desk.
Thank you, Adobe, for the entertainment news. This is still the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Over to you, Kingsley, now for sports stories.
Good evening and welcome to the Sport Desk on ATN Global News. I am Kingsley Emmanuel. 2 Nigerian athletes, including sprinter Rosemary Chukwuma, may miss their events following delay by United States consulate to issue them visa to participate in the Oregon 2022 World Athletics Championship, which begins today. Chukwuma, a student in the United States, was caught in the long wait for visa in Abuja following her application to change to a student status. Chukwuma is among Nigerian athletes expected to run in the 100 meters heat event tomorrow after the championship. Another Nigerian athlete still waiting for United States visa in Abuja is 400 meters runner Ella Ovonvo. Also, all 4 Nigerian journalists accredited by World Athletes to the championship are yet to get a United States visa at this point. And now to cycling, as Nigeria made a bright start to its campaign outside the 2022 African Track Cycling Championship in Abuja by bagging 3 medals on the opening day of the competition in Abuja. The opening day of the competition witnessed 10 finals, out of which 9 events were for the championship and 1 for ranking events. Nigeria opened the championship with 3 medals from 3 different events out of 9 events that held on day 1. Team Nigeria secured 1 silver and 2 bronze medals in the junior event and were unable to have any medals in the men's and women's events. There was also plenty to celebrate for South African team as it won a total of 5 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze on day one, followed by Egypt team with 2 gold, 2 bronze and 2 silver. Algeria also had its country recorded 1 gold, 2 silver and a bronze, while Nigeria, the host, had 1 silver and 2 bronze, and Morocco 1 gold and 2 silver. And away from cycling, Manchester United have completed the signing of Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen on a free transfer. The former IS Tottenham, Inter Milan and Brentford player has signed a 3-year contract at Old Trafford. Earlier in July, Eriksen agreed in principle to sign for United after his short-term contract at Brentford ended in June. He is United's second signing under new manager Erik ten Hag after Netherlands fullback Trey Malaysia from Feyenoord. And that wraps up all the sport news. I am Kingsley Emmanuel, taking you to the news desk.
That's the global news for tonight, but before we go, another look at the major stories making the headlines. Rivers Abattoir butchers traders lament slow pace of workers at site. Anambra State government marks hundreds of shops for demolition in Onitsha. And Arms Control NCC SALW National Coordinator sets up regional offices for arms control. Osun State Elections Police Commission dispatch personnel for Osun governorship poll. And 2023 election, INEC to extend date for continuous voter registration to July 31st. And in Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sri Lanka's Prime Minister, sworn in as acting president. And that's about the size of our package tonight. Thank you for joining us. But remember that you can always follow us on our social media handles at AtlanticTV.net on Twitter, AtlanticTV.net on Facebook. Thank you for staying tuned. My name is Adejuma Adekunle. Good evening.
In our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on